Hi, Xavier. Just kidding. Hello, people of the world. Video for my dear cousin who is in college, and these are just some things I wish I would have known while I was in college. I'm Cecilia. I'm Mexican and Filipino. I grew up in San Diego, California. I went to school in San Francisco. Got accepted into SF State as a kinesiology major, and I graduated with a bachelor's of science in apparel design and merchandising. After college, I moved to New York, and I wanted to pursue my dream of working in the fashion industry. And so now I live in New York, and I work in the fashion industry. I wish I would have networked more. I think networking is a huge part of college. The next generation of adults to be put into the world, network and get to know each other and kind of see how you can help each other and build a community. It's good to have to know different people in different fields and vice versa. Care of your community and building a community. Like, this is the time to build a community, and within your community people are going to know what you do, and so that's just going to be something that they support you in because you're part of the community. Why wouldn't I support you? I follow your dreams. There are some people in this world that know what they want to do from a young age, and I happen to be one of those people. I just knew I wanted to be in fashion, and I wanted to be a fashion designer, and I knew that from a young age. But there's also people that come into this world having the freedom to explore every different field and try everything, probably have access to everything they offer, whether you're taking it as an extracurricular. Always make sure that you're taking care of your requirements and then add. And if you don't have time to add, then just email that professor and be like, hey, can I use your studio from this time to this time? Or like, when do you have open studio hours? So you can take advantage of everything that the school has to offer because you're paying to go there. So there's a chance that you're allowed to use everything if you, one, ask nicely, and two, do your research about it and be mindful. It's always important to like be kind first, be respectful, and then ask for what you need. Don't just ask for what you need because it's just a little rude, but that's just my 2 cents. If you've always wanted to try something, now's the time, because one, you're in school, you kind of have a safety net. Experiment and dive into things you would have never thought you could have done. Interning. If you don't know what you want to do, research different companies you'd like to work for. Check if they offer an internship program. If they don't, you can always email or call. Ask if you can be an intern for X amount of hours, X amount of days, 2 to 3 hours a day. I'm sure a business owner will appreciate that because you're technically going to work for free. Sometimes they will offer perks. Sometimes they will pay. Your time is what you are giving them in return for their knowledge. So you will always learn something with internships. I would probably do, the days I didn't work, I did an internship. It's better to be interning and learning something. All trial and error right now. When you're interning, you're learning what you like and what you don't like. You don't know what you want to do and you have the freedom to try everything. Why not do process of elimination? Like, okay, I'm going to try this first, and if I don't like that, okay, I'm going to try the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing, until you find what you actually like to do, and something that will make you money. Not saying don't follow your dreams if it's not making you money, because I definitely didn't start like that. When I moved to New York is when I started interning for fashion brands. Interning. Oh no, let me just go. Did internships that didn't really have anything to do with design, but one of them was like at a sewing house or like a manufacturer, which was production. It was kind of the back end. I just knew early on that that's not what I wanted to do. College is character development, especially if you left home or you left the city that you grew up in and now you're in school. You are creating your character. It's so important that you're aware of that. I feel like I would have never known trying everything under the sun to develop who I actually want to be, because this is all trial and error. Something, it works, cool, I like it, cool. It doesn't work, all right, try the next thing. In college, I would have been like, okay, I don't have the time for that. Like, I'm trying to juggle everything. But if somebody would have just told me, okay, you're supposed to learn how to juggle everything, because then life gets easier. And then you're like, oh, okay, so let me actually figure this out instead of just stressing. Try to keep a job, good time management skills, and you will learn how to balance multiple things at once while you're living, instead of like on your free time, you're doing nothing. Like, you're missing those hours to learn something, to get further in something. Don't waste your time. Like, yes, you're tired. Yes, life is happening, but remember that what you do in this amount of time is going to propel you into the next thing. I'm not saying don't have fun, because you should definitely have fun. Also, work hard, play hard. I think that's an important thing. Really paying to go to school. Always keep an emergency fund or like a dream fund. It's not necessary, and sometimes it's not even possible. It will definitely change your life. You already know what you want to do. Just keep going at it. People are going to think you're crazy. People are going to say no. You will get 100 no's and 1 yes. And you're just like, you got to keep going, because with every no, you learn something new. And this is advice I tell myself now. As long as you believe you can do it, it's going to be possible. You don't really need anyone else to believe in you. But that goes back with the first thing I had to say about taking care of your community. Also, I want to mention this Tyler the Creator quote where he's like, you already know what you want to do, so I just do it. And I think that's one of the most important parts of having a dream, is just going for it and doing it and following it. It will get easier as time goes on, but you just have to start. Student ID. You will, for the most part, you can get away with using your student ID for a long time. I still use my student ID, and I graduated school in 2019, so face card never declined. Always check if something has a student discount. Traveling in college, I feel like, was very important for me. Growing up, I had never really traveled. That was something I got to do because my roommate had family in other places. When you build your community takes care of you. And we got to stay with her family, which I will forever be grateful of that experience. Take advantage of everything they offer. Work for free for other people for their knowledge. This is your era where you're like a sponge. And so take in as much as you possibly can, because remember, after school, your safety net, that's where you should be learning your routines, get into routines, learn everything there possibly is to learn about yourself, so that when you're out of that safety net, you kind of already know how to maneuver, because you did it in school. You learned how to balance school, job, internships, and extracurricular. Instead of starting here, you're already going to start here, just because you did all that prep work. That's so important. I wish I would have known that. If you have questions, comment them below, and I will make a part 2. Oh my god, I love this YouTube era. Okay. Do we want to know more about me? Everybody's going to need clothes. When I was 3, I told my cousin I was going to be a fashion designer. Why do I remember that memory? I don't know. Where did that memory come from? I don't know. Do I think I'm crazy sometimes because I have that memory? Yes. And I designed my quinceañera dress because I'm Mexican and Filipino. My parents found it more economical to do that with a family member who is a dressmaker. I designed my dress. In high school, for my senior year, I also designed my prom dress. It happened to work that way. In high school, I've I was always fascinated with clothes. I've been fascinated with clothes my whole life. I was in a college readiness program in high school. I remember we did PowerPoints on the colleges we wanted to go to and why. And I remember I did one for SF State, and I wrote because it's next to a mall. Why did I write that? That was just always my first love. I applied to a lot of schools. The only school I got into was San Francisco State. So I went there. I did not want to go to community college in San Diego. I wanted to leave San Diego to make choices for myself. Was I trying to rebel a little bit? Maybe. But I followed my intuition enough where I knew that that's the only college I got into, and I need to go to a four-year university. I got in as a kinesiology major. I wanted to be an athletic trainer for the Lakers. My first year of doing all my general requirement classes, I found out that I didn't need to get a bachelor's degree in kinesiology or in sports medicine. It was so silly, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. To switch my major to English. To be an English professor, I had to do an art class for one of my general requirements, and there was this girl that introduced herself as a fashion major, and I was like, this is my time to shine. There is a fashion program at this school? What? I remember going to my English professor that I was talking to about switching my major to English and being like, I actually think I want to do fashion. And they're like, oh, my sister works in fashion in New York. And I was like, that is what I want. And he was like, but you'll never make it. I was like, why? He said, because you're too kind. People that work in fashion are mean. People that are in New York are mean. I was like, damn, F it. I'm gonna go to the counselor's office. Back to the PowerPoint, to my TED Talk. Always go to the counselor's office to make sure you're on track. Take advantage of that damn counselor. They're there to help you. So I go to the counselor's office. I'm like, I think I decided what I want to change my major into. I want to go into fashion. And she's like, okay, just letting you know, the fashion program is very impacted. They only accept 20 students. What experience do you have in fashion? I said, I don't have any fashion experience. She's like, have you worked a retail job before? I was like, it's crazy because I've always wanted to work in retail and the universe always said no. That just was not in my path. And so she's like, okay, well, you're going to need to figure something out. Why do you want to go into fashion? I was like, I don't know. I just have always loved fashion. And she's like, okay, how have you loved it? Oh, I loved making clothes for my dolls, creating new worlds for them out of clothes, a new life. Then when I was 15, I got to design my quinceañera dress. Does that count? And she goes, yes! I was like, oh my God, okay, I can do it. And she was like, what else have you done? And she's just sitting there helping me process my thoughts. And I did my prom dress, and I've just always loved clothes. I've always loved the feeling and finding it and picking what I choose to express today. And she was like, okay, write that in your essay. Practice your drawings because you're going to have to submit some and da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, okay, wow. I can't believe I'm diving into these memories right now. This is so crazy. I haven't thought about this in a while. And I applied and I got in. I only accepted 20 students because there was only 20 sewing machines. This was a small, intimate program. I got to where I am today with the knowledge that I learned in that program. So I am forever thankful. That was the other thing. I felt like I was always worried about the next thing, that I wasn't focused in the present. I was just constantly doing. Didn't belong, but I knew that I loved designing and I loved making clothes. So I did it anyways, and I kept going and I kept going and I kept telling myself, listen, if you weren't supposed to be in this major, you wouldn't have gotten in, so you're fine. Just keep doing it. You will create an aesthetic as you keep making clothes. You'll create yourself and you will get better at it. Just keep practicing and you'll be okay. So I would have these little pep talks to myself so that I can boost my self-esteem. My dad wasn't very fond of the idea that I changed my major. He kept telling me this major wasn't going to make me any money. And I kept saying, everybody's going to need clothes. In college, I decided I wanted to move to New York, so I bought a plane ticket. Luckily, my sister's new husband's family lived in New Jersey. I jokingly said, hey, if you really want to move to New York, there's an extra room. They offered me a place to stay. I will forever be grateful for them because of that. So much to a little girl who just had a dream of being a fashion designer. I worked at a restaurant that was like within a 5-mile radius of the apartment, and I was literally making $2 an hour. I made more in college, and I just kept replaying the Frank Ocean song where he's talking to his mom and he's like, 600, 800K mama to stand on my feet, mama. It was just so powerful, and I just knew I had to make it. I knew I had to get out of that. I am uncomfortable AF. This is insane. I cannot believe this is happening. What am I doing? Like, I was fully crashing out. I was on Instagram one day, and one musician that I followed posted that they walked in a fashion show, and she goes, oh yeah, I made a dress for that show. And I was like, oh cool. And she's like, yeah, have you ever heard of the brand Kid Super? And I was like, no. And so then I started following the brand, and a month later, Kid Super, and they're looking for seamstresses and a whole list of people that make things. And so I just really wanted to help, and so I emailed over my resume, and they're like, great, we're starting this day, this is the address. I said, okay, perfect, what time do you want me there? And they're like, I don't know, 9. And so I showed up at 8:30. I treated that opportunity like a 9 to 5. They had built a table out of plywood for me to start sewing on. I started setting up the machines. At the end of the month of interning and like creating all these looks for the show, he introduces me to Meech as she is the biggest Flatbush Zombie fan ever. She wants to make clothes for you. And he was like, okay, cool, take my number. I was like, and that was definitely on my bucket list. I fully manifested that, because when I was in college, I would tell my friends, I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to be a fashion designer for Flatbush Zombies, and I'm going to go on tour with them and just make them clothes, and it's going to be the coolest thing ever. And so I got to do that, which was really exciting. And it was like the snowball effect of just like keep going and keep going. But yeah, I think that's all I want to share for now. So yeah, if you have any other questions or if you want to know anything else, let me know in the comments.